What is up, everybody? It's Ree or Rebel Inks Art here again with today's character design challenge. Now, right off the bat, I want to go ahead and apologize. I have a really gnarly cold right now, which is a little ironic considering today's prompt. But because of it, I'm going to be very nasally and very sniffly, and I might have to pause a bit to sneeze. I'm going to try and keep that on the minimum, but, you know, the nose has to do what the nose has to do. But for today's prompt, we had Icy Princess, which was super exciting because we hadn't had a princess prompt yet, but then was also a little intimidating because Disney kind of already tackled that one, and it was both a little scary in that I was worried I was going to stray too close to a Frozen styled look, and then also just kind of that fear of like, oh, Disney did it, I can't do it any better, even though I wasn't a fan of Frozen. But you know, there's always that paranoia that when you have a prompt similar to something that already exists. But regardless of this, I jumped right into it. I knew one of the main things I wanted with this character was I wanted her outfit to at least partially resemble the fact that she lived in a cold environment. So I wanted it to be, you know, long-sleeved, very thick material kind of thing. Because I ended up pulling a little inspiration from Frozen in that, and that one of my biggest pet peeves was how I don't care about how revealing Elsa's dress was, I just care that it wasn't very suitable for the weather. Like, you know, the cold doesn't bother her anyway, whatever, but I mean, everybody feels wind chill. Being able to control snow doesn't change that. And so I just wanted to give this character a very warm, while still regal outfit. And I messed around with that a bit. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this gal. I jumped 1,000 different places with the way I wanted hers to look. We go from having one kind of jacket to a different kind of jacket to no jacket to back to a jacket to a weird like half jacket. We like change the sleeves all kinds of crazy different ways. We change the direction she's facing 1,000 times. One thing I knew I wanted is I wanted to make her look to the side because it gave this very nice aloof cold feeling. But it also, it was going to challenge me to work on drawing people from a profile, which is something I always need to make myself work on. So here we are messing with that jacket shenanigans again. One of the big problems I was having with her is I was having a hard time making her look appropriately regal while still keeping her nice and warm. I wanted her to have a very European style outfit. And because of that, I was just having a rather difficult time figuring out how I wanted her to look. Also getting the arms the right length. Ugh, I'm so sniffly, I'm very sorry. But with that, we are finishing up that sketching and then heading into the line art. The crown is something I'm not as happy with. I feel like I just kind of threw some spirals and some gems on there and called it a day. I probably could have put some more thought into the crown. Going in there, lining that jacket. There was quite a few moments today where I was considering just not bothering with this video. I wanted to sleep all day, but I woke up because of my cats. Toothless would not stop stepping on my bladder, and it was the worst. And finally I'm just like, alright, guess I'm up, and I managed to get some things done, and then I kind of paused in between two different projects and realized, oh my gosh, I just accomplished like 20 things that I've been procrastinating like crazy, and realized, well, if I've gotten all this done, I really can't excuse not recording a video, so I went ahead, sat down, recorded this bad boy. I don't know how I'm being so productive despite the fact that I feel like I'm dying, but I'm just gonna, you know, take it, see if I can knock out a couple more things on my to-do list while I'm at it. Hopefully not die. Lining that skirt. I think the skirt is one of the things I'm most happy with. And then I messed around with giving her blue skin for like half a second and then realized, no, I absolutely hated that. And then started messing around with the color palettes. Now, color palettes were something that I had a rough time with, and I feel a sneeze coming on. I'm praying it doesn't hit. Give me a moment. I am so sorry. This is so unprofessional. Ugh. Alright. I messed around with color palettes. I wanted to give her some dark elements while still keeping it very like nice and icy color paletted. And I wanted to give her some kind of face makeup, just because that's something I don't really mess with enough for how much I absolutely love what was that noise? How much I love the trope. And I kind of went back and forth on that as well. What I ended up doing was kind of inspiring her face makeup by kabuki masks, just because They're a design that I've fallen in love with recently, and I've been wanting to mess around with a kabuki character and just still haven't gotten around to it. But I figured this would be a fun little time to kind of implement some of those patterns that I see frequently in those designs. Originally I was doing a light blue and a purple, and we'll see I go back and change that because the purple just wasn't sitting well with me. And then I'm filling in her hair, cleaning up her jacket. And it was right about around here, we're gonna see it in a second. I paused the recording to go make some food, came back, looked at the colors I'd put down and went, this looks ugly. And so we're gonna see me make a new layer, mess around with some new colors, and then just kind of fix everything up. Just because I really wanted to push myself with this one, and here we see me fixing those color palettes. I knew I wanted to have some darker elements to her design, but I felt like the dark I had was weighing her down too much and kind of taking that icy element from her. I've had a trend of having character designs that I was happy with, but wasn't fully satisfied with, and I wanted to push myself to make a design I could look at and go, yes, that's the best I could have done with this prompt at this time and place. And so I was just kind of really pushing myself with this one to make sure I could get something that I would be happy with. And I think I accomplished that. Could also just be the cold talking. Maybe I'll get better from this, look back on this painting and go, ugh, but, you know, who knows? We shall see how that cookie crumbles. But here we are, I'm changing the skirt of her outfit, dress, I'm not sure which it is, but I'm changing it to a nice pale yellow to kind of contrast all the blues, and then I'm coming in and kind of like frosting up the bottom of her dress. So I'm bringing in a bunch of like various darker turquoises, and then bringing in a stark white, and then some very pale blue at the very bottom. I didn't really have any kind of reference for doing that, it just kind of felt right in the moment, and sometimes you just gotta rely on your gut instincts for stuff like that. After applying a nice gradient to the panel on the front of her dress. I don't know if this is a thing most princesses have, but it's a thing Princess Zelda has, who is like my go-to inspiration for cool princessy designs. So I felt very compelled to include it in my picture. And then for this little pattern that I've got going on the panel at the front of her dress, I'm using a pencil tool instead of my pen tool, just because it gives it a nice fuzziness around the lines that I thought lended itself well. Then with that, I'm going in and I am frosting the bottom of her jacket just because I wanted to add in a nice bunch of like fun, funky designs like that. Felt like it would add just a nice little touch, and in the end I'm happy with how they turned out. I kind of high-key on that jacket. And then with that, I'm going in. I'm doing my simpler form of shading just because I really didn't have the energy to go in and shade all those different individual little details. But what I am doing is kind of modifying it a little bit, where I'm keeping just a dark red for my warm tones and a cool tone for my blues, just because I didn't used to really do that, and it definitely showed, and I wanted to make this a little nice shading-wise, since I couldn't absolutely give it my all. I probably shouldn't have done the purple on the skirt. I think that's one mistake I made. I don't know if the red would have gone better either, but the purple did not work. But that's okay. There's always room to grow. Adding some highlights on her jawbone that I'm looking at, and they're kind of a little too intense, but that's okay. And then messing around with background designs, decided I didn't want to do the regular orb that I normally do. So I'm coming in with my cloud brush as a select tool, and then filling it in with a nice slate turquoise, throwing in some snowflakes and doing that line around her. And here we have that finished illustration. I'm pretty happy with her. I'm also very sleep deprived and very in pain, so who knows if that opinion will stay, but I think she turned out rad. She's very scary. I would not approach her if I saw her, but I would most definitely admire her from a distance. So I think that's kind of a good vibe. I think that's a good vibe to have gone for. With that said, I'm just going to go ahead and finish up here because I'm sick and don't really feel like rambling, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to try out your own aesthetic characters, the link to the generator I used in this video is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, I hope you eat some great food, and I hope you make some great art. Bye-bye!